And we're back for our daily NBA best bets here on the channel for Sunday, December 7th. Obviously, today's a big NFL day, but we still have some NBA action. We've got NBA games going on early today, even before the NFL starts at 9 a.m., at least on the West Coast, but over on the East Coast at noon, the New York Knicks will be hosting the Orlando Magic, and we will have a best bet for that game, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But only, I believe, 7 games today in the National Basketball Association, and some of the teams I talk about quite a bit on the channel: Bulls, Grizzlies, Lakers, Thunder. I wonder who we're going to have bets on today. We'll get into that later in terms of, you'll see. You'll see. Anyways, we have 5 best bets, obviously, today for the NBA. Folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA best bets here on the channel. Earlier today, we posted our college basketball best bets, so go make sure to check out that video if you have not yet. NFL predictions, again, and best bets are on the channel as well, so go make sure to check those out. And also on Greedo Plays MMA later today, our UFC Fight Night Royval versus Cop predictions at noon today on Greedo Plays MMA. And tomorrow on Greedo Plays MMA, our PFL Lyon predictions with Vadim Nemkov and Hanan Fedetta for the PFL Heavyweight Championship. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets today for the NBA. Let's start things off with that early morning game, or that, matinee game, essentially, at the Garden. I'm going to go Paolo Banchero tonight, or today, under 20.5 points and rebounds. And that might stick out like a sore thumb in terms of the betting catalog today. And you might say, what? Banchero under 20.5 PR? Yeah. He's still playing limited minutes, coming off the injury, and I don't think he's going to play that much today. Right, Banchero's only played 1 game since coming back from the groin injury actually that he suffered in the Garden. Has already played 1 game, obviously, since he's come back. Played it on Friday against the Miami Heat, went 20 minutes, played 20 minutes, went 3 for 8 from the field, scored 9 points, and had 6 rebounds. So right there, again, 15 PR. I don't expect Banchero to play that many more minutes than what he did against Miami, right? I expect this to be a slow thing where they continue to build him up. I don't think we see a, heavy Banchero minutes tonight. I think we're going to see maybe 25 minutes today. I mean, obviously, Banchero still starts. He's going to play 25. I don't think in 5 more minutes he's going to get 6 more PR. I think Banchero, again, watching him play against Miami, he's not obviously the main part of the offense right now, and obviously they're going to ease him back into it. And sure, again, when the Magic are playing their best basketball, when they're playing well, Banchero needs to be a huge part of their squad to win. They are the 5th best team currently in the Eastern Conference, but I don't believe, in this game, Banchero is going to play too much of a factor. Yes, this is a player this season who's been averaging 21 and 9 if we're rounding up there, and that is 30 PR, but cutting his minutes essentially in half doesn't really result in that, obviously. Again, the game against Miami, 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting in 20 minutes is a very strict and hard, minutes cap, exactly 20 minutes, it felt like. And I think, everything I'm reading about Banchero going into this game is that there's still going to be a minutes restriction, but they're going to ease Banchero back into this game. And obviously, again, Vegas responds with their line, so obviously we're not going to see Banchero play his full, typical 35, 36 minutes, because the line wouldn't be like this, right? Vegas knows best, right? Vegas knows all. So we will refer to Vegas for this line as well. But additionally, right, everything we've seen out of Orlando is that Banchero is still being eased back into the swing of things. And sure, he's still starting, still playing big minutes, still playing in big moments for this team. But they don't want Banchero, again, going 35 minutes in just his 2nd game back from a groin injury, especially because he is the franchise player, obviously, and former number 1 overall draft pick for the Magic. So I don't think we see 20.5 PR today. I don't think we see 21.5 PR. A line that I would expect probably would be, max 13 points out of Banchero. I just don't think he's going to take many shots. He didn't take many shots in the game against Miami. Obviously, the focal parts of the offense right now are going to be a Franz Wagner. It's going to be a Desmond Bane, right? Wagner in their last game against Miami went out there and scored 32 points. Jalen Suggs scored 22. Desmond Bane, they try to make, the thing about Desmond Bane, they're trying to make him a big part of the offense. He just hasn't been all that successful and actually capitalizing on that opportunity. And we know, again, we've talked about so much, the price in which Orlando paid to go out there and get a player like Desmond Bane in the offseason to make them, a prominent figure in the Eastern Conference. And sure, again, he's been up and down, and Bane will have his nights. That game against Miami, though, and sure, again, Bane's an 18 points per game scorer, and he had the back-to-back 37-point outings against Detroit and Chicago, but he will disappear in games. Look at the game against the Heat. Desmond Bane plays 33 minutes, scores 5 points on 2 of 16 shooting from the field, and 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. You spent multiple first-round draft picks to go out and get this guy, and that's what he goes out there and does. And sure, again, Jalen Suggs makes up for 22 points. Franz Wagner scores 32. Anthony Black comes off the bench and scores 13. But if Banchero's not at his best, obviously the Magic need Bane to be a part of the offense. But again, it's not for a lack of effort. They're trying with Desmond Bane. He put up 16 shots, shot 8 3-pointers, right? I mean, compare again the volume of shots for everyone in the starting lineup. Suggs taking 19, Bane's taken 16, Wagner's taken 22, and Paolo Banchero's taken 8, and Wendell Carter, obviously their center, is only taking 5, right? So Banchero's getting squeezed out for now. Obviously, again, when he's playing big minutes and when he's 100%, they're going to continue to look to Banchero more. And I understand game script will tell us high-scoring game. Magic have really gone back, or not really gone back. They've started to play high-scoring, high-paced games, despite what they've done in previous seasons of being a defensively minded squad. New York, we know there's no defense being played by the Knicks. It's take the first open three-pointer that you get. I understand. So game script probably does expect a high-scoring affair. Regardless, though, again, Banchero is the fourth option right now offensively, and that's not going to remain that way. But for now, yes, that's what Banchero's role is. He's still in a limited minutes capacity, so I don't think he's going to go over 20.5 points and rebounds. It's the best line I could find. I liked it better than the straight points line. So yes, give me the under PR tonight, or this morning, this afternoon, or at noon, I don't know what the right word for that is, for Paolo Banchero on the road for the Magic, taking on the New York Knicks. Again, under for a Banchero of 20.5 points and rebounds. On to our second best bet of the video. Let's go to the FedEx Forum. In Memphis, Tennessee for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Portland Trail Blazers. Yes, we are back on the Grizzlies yet again. I love this spot, man. I mean, does it need to be talked about what the Grizzlies are doing? We say it every video, and no one's paying attention yet in the national media, and probably nobody will, because the Grizzlies, let's just be honest, they're a play-in team, right? I don't think anybody expects the Grizz to be a top 6 team in the West, but this is right now a potential Grizzlies-Blazers game. This is a potential game that we're going to see in the play-in this year, right? We've talked about that daunted 10 spot in the play-in. A spot that teams don't particularly want. It's usually a team that is not winning games. And I know last year the 10 seed in the East technically got into the Miami Heat. They won 2 games and got in the playoffs. But usually the 10 seed is a team that's usually not very good, and they find themselves, oh, we're playing a playoff game, really? But we're 15 games under 500. That's an Eastern Conference thing. But anyways, like right now the Bulls, who are 9-13, currently still hold the 10th play-in spot with their good pals every single season, the Heat and the Hawks. Heat, Hawks, Bulls, the big 3 of the play-in, are back in it again so far this year. Will that change? I don't know. It's just hilarious. Anyways, Memphis and Portland might find themselves in the 9 and 10 in the play-in, and I expect Memphis to sit easily at 9 or even above 9 towards the end of the year, but there's going to be someone who's going to have to wind up at 10. I think it's probably going to be the Dallas Mavericks. I wouldn't expect them to sit that low at the end of the season, but maybe it will be Portland. And, we've talked about Portland at length this season. I've watched a lot of Blazers basketball. Again, they're really dependent on the second chance opportunities. If they have a hot shooting night, they are really great. Denny Adjeva is, he's going to be an all-star this season, and with the numbers he's putting up, yes, he has to be an all-star, averaging 26, 7, and 6. Those are all-star type numbers. They're very, I don't want to say tainted, but they're very forced numbers. Guys, so far in the month of December, Denny Adjeva is averaging 16 free throws a game. Is that not crazy? I mean, I say this every time, but people complain about SGA's whistle. People complain about James Harden's whistle. And yeah, prime James Harden whistle was ridiculous. I understand. And Shea's whistle has been absurd at times too. Watch a Portland Trailblazers game and watch how Denny Adjeva forces himself to the free throw line every single game. Teams will foul Shea because they can't guard him, and that's the best way of stopping the second best scorer in the league behind Luka, right? Teams don't try to just, completely foul Adjeva and take him out of the game. He just somehow gets the line, and referees are obsessed with this dude. It's absurd. So Talking about Banchero. Denny Adjeva, so far in the month of December, played 3 games. His team's 1-2 in these 3 games. He's averaging 29 points in the month. But again, he goes 10 for 15 on free throws in Toronto, 16 for 17 free throws in Cleveland, and 14 for 15 at the free throw line against the Pistons. He just gets the line all game long. It's absurd. So I'm a little concerned about Zach Edey getting in foul trouble because Adjeva is just going to fling his body at him, and Edey's going to go like this, hands up, and he's obviously 7'5", so he's, good chance he's going to block the shots, but Edey's going to put his hands up. Adjeva is going to fling himself at Edey, and they're going to say, oh, foul Zach Edey. I can see it now. Anyways, I'm still taking Memphis, guys. Portland, again, they are the most difficult bad team to play because they're just going to go out there and, you're going to get into a dogfight when you play the Portland Trailblazers. I completely understand. Every single game that they have is high scoring, and they are difficult games that teams have to play Portland in, yet they're 9-14. And they're 5 games under 500. They're a tough team to play, and yes, they beat Cleveland a couple nights ago in Cleveland, make it make sense. But I think the Grizzlies get them. Portland's been on a road trip for a while, and we need to take that into account. I think they're gonna have to. Are they gonna stay out on the East Coast because they have a game tonight against Memphis, and then another game on Thursday night in New Orleans? Now they're definitely gonna go home first and then come back to New Orleans for one game randomly. But they've been on the road on this current road trip since December 1st. Started in Toronto, then go to Cleveland, then Detroit, and now in Memphis. They have been on the road for forever. This team's just waiting to get back to Portland at this point. I think the Grizzlies, they're more than willing to match this pace. And are the Blazers really going to be playing at the highest tempo on the fourth night of a road trip and over a weeks-long road trip at that as well? Not entirely, right? And I just love the way the Grizzlies are playing. We've been on this team for quite a bit now. Huge win on Friday night against the Los Angeles Clippers, and I know, again, the Clippers are a 6-17 team, but hey, big win for the Grizz. They go out there and find a way to get it done. Huge second half of the squad. They play tremendous defense in the second half, and every night somebody shows up. It was Cedric Howard, the rookie out of Washington State, yesterday on Friday against the Clippers. He scores 23 points. He had a huge night. Some nights it's Vince Williams. Some nights it's Jalen Wells, who is one of the best three-point shooters in the league that nobody talks about. Jaren Jackson is still, playing, potentially have big nights. KCP off the bench. I love Cam Spencer. I think he should play, I think he should start. Obviously, he plays more minutes than Vince Williams, yet Williams starts, but Cam Spencer has been amazing. Guys, Conchar sometimes has nights. Santi Aldama can shoot the three-point ball. Right now, I am really loving what we're getting out the Memphis Grizzlies. They're just playing really good basketball. And I don't want to say, again, they're just playing great basketball because Ja's not in the lineup, but they look really good. They look great. Ja is close to coming back, though. And I think they're going to be much better, too, when Ty Jerome comes back, right? Ty Jerome still is not suited up as a Grizzly. Huge offseason pickup for this squad. Obviously played huge minutes last year for that Cavs team that was dominant in the regular season. Getting Ty Jerome on this team, man, that can be huge. Ja Morant, though, is approaching his return date. Ja actually has not been ruled out of this game yet, even though I don't think anybody expects him to play. Morant is currently doubtful, still with that injury, with that calf injury. And again, we know teams are not going to push anything with calf injuries, but yeah, Ja could be coming back soon. I don't know, again, how this affects his team. I probably won't be betting on the Grizz the first day Ja comes back because we just need to see how they roll with him. But still no Ja right now. I like the team's playing. I like how they're playing. I think they match up fairly well with Portland. Historically, over the last couple seasons, the Grizzlies have played really good basketball against Portland, both in the Moda Center and at the FedEx Forum. So I gotta go with the Grizzlies here. They've won 4 out of 5. Nobody's talking about them right now, but wins over New Orleans, the Clippers, the Kings, all three on the road. Come back home to beat the Clippers. Again, those aren't high-level teams, but Portland's not a high-level team either. So Memphis is doing, again, what you're supposed to do, and it's beat the low-level squads. They will be hosting Utah on Friday night. Yes, give me the Memphis Grizzlies to win this basketball game. I'm going to go Grizzlies money line at -115 at home, again, from Tennessee. On now to our third best bet of the video, we go to another money line. Okay, I did hint at this yesterday, and I understand. The NBA sometimes, boy, is it weird. The Golden State Warriors, injured and all, and we will read this, their starting lineup. It's one of those unreal starting lineup graphics that, you look back at in 10 years and say, remember where you were. You aren't really a Warriors fan if you weren't watching during this game. Yet Golden State beat Cleveland yesterday. Absurd stuff out of the Cavaliers. Again, the association is just the weirdest league sometimes. They were 10-point favorites and they lose by 5. I don't understand. Anyways, it goes back into the theory, maybe sometimes we should just always bet on the underdogs. Bet the entire slate every day, take all underdogs, and see if you come out positive. It's a theory I have. Maybe I'll try it one of these days when OKC's not playing. Anyways, Golden State with a starting lineup of, let's read it off, Pat Spencer, Will Richard, Buddy Hield, Jonathan Kuminga, and Quentin Post beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, you heard me right. No Draymond Green, no Jimmy Butler, obviously no Stephen Curry, no Al Horford. They still go on the road and beat the Cavs. The Golden State Warriors scored 12 points in the first quarter, and they won the basketball game. They're getting out to the worst starts, and they're winning. So how will the Warriors be injury-wise today? I don't know. I have a feel. I think Draymond's going to be back. I don't think Butler is going to be back yet. I know, again, Jimmy would like to play in Chicago, I know. I don't think he's going to play. He has not played since that Thunder game where he got injured in that one. I don't know. And again, Horford with the sciatica, that doesn't sound great. D'Anthony Melton probably will play tonight. I am going with the Bulls. And I know the Bulls have lost a bunch of games in a row, but the association, as we know, makes absolutely no sense. And then, yes, again, they are more than due for a victory, as Chicago has now lost 6 consecutive games over legitimately the worst teams in the association, plus the Magic, as they've lost 6 in a row to the Pels, the Hornets, the Pacers, the Magic, the Nets, and the Pacers. They're so due for one. Absolutely. And this just feels like the right spot with the Warriors on a second night of a back-to-back. Big key in this game, is Coby White playing? The answer is yes. Coby White is probable with that calf injury that's been kind of, nagging this entire season, but Coby White is going to play. Others, Ayo Dosunmu, questionable with the thumb injury, we shall see. No Trey Jones, no Isaac Okoro, no Jalen Smith, but we do get Patrick Williams. Zach Collins is now back for the Bulls, which is huge because now he re-enters that backup center role over Smith, which is big time for Chicago. And obviously, again, Vucci Main, who, depending on the night, and Josh Giddey, who is going to be an all-star this season, averaging a triple-double. Both those guys are in the lineup as well tonight, too. So I think Chicago gets Golden State here, right? Chicago, if I can say anything about this team, is that they're going to score. Now, I know, again, defensively, they're awful. At the same time, the Warriors right now, without Steph Curry, and even if Butler plays, they're still not a great scoring team. They can't put up that many points. So as long as Chicago can still leave guys wide open for three, because that's what they do. They leave guys wide open, and, sure, where you get the Bulls is if you do a simple pick and roll to the basket, and nobody picks up the center, or if you feed a center and Vucevic just gets bullied down low. The Warriors, again, stylistically, actually don't match up that well against Chicago because they don't just have a center that can straight back down Vucevic all game long. They may try with Quentin Post. He scored 12 points last night in 32 minutes, but I don't think the highest of Vucevic. I've not been praising him that much as of late. I will say he's a great shooter. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. Quentin Post is not going to bully Vucevic, right? Good centers in the league will. No disrespect to Post, but Post isn't on that level where I can, immediately point out and say, okay, hold on, this guy's going to dominate Vucevic because Vucevic just is not playing good interior defense this season. To me, I just don't think that's going to work that way today. If Draymond plays, actually, honestly, that might even be better. It lets Vucevic play on the outside. Warriors play 5 out with Draymond obviously sitting in the corner or at the deep pocket. Sure, let Draymond sit out there and let Vucevic guard him out there. I'm not really too concerned about that. Josh Giddey can crash boards like he does all the time, and we should be okay there. So yeah, matchup-wise, and I've been waiting for this one, again, especially with the Warriors coming off the second night of a back-to-back, and yeah, they looked impressive and won last night in a low-scoring game. Regardless of what the Bulls do, they're going to score. They might not play the best defensively, but they're going to put up 100 at least. Obviously, I don't think they've had a single game all year where they haven't scored 100. They're likely going to put up 110. That's usually their floor. And yeah, they don't play defense. Like they played Orlando and gave up 125. They played Brooklyn, gave up 113. The Pacers game, they gave up 120. Are the Warriors capable of scoring that many points? I know they're NBA players, but I mean, still, the Bulls are going to leave you open. The Bulls are going to give you opportunities. The question is, can the Warriors capitalize on those opportunities? My answer to that question is actually no. And I think Chicago can get it done, especially with some tired legs playing for Golden State. Yes, they're going to get fresh legs back potentially with Anthony Melton, maybe with Jimmy Butler, maybe with Draymond and Horford. Again, I highly doubt Butler and Horford are going to play. So again, we're probably expecting Melton coming back and Draymond Green coming back. And yeah, Melton can help you, but I don't think that's going to be enough to carry the Warriors to victory tonight. I just think on the second night of the back-to-back, it's going to be rough. They have Steph coming back likely in their next game to look forward to. But for now, yes, I'm going with the Chicago Bulls to win this basketball game. Give me Bulls money line at plus 100 at home against the Golden State Warriors. On now to our fourth best bet of the video, and we go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the city of brotherly love for the Philadelphia 76ers and the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm taking Lakers spread at -4 on the road in Philly. Luka Doncic is back after after attending the birth of his second daughter. Luka is back with the Lakers. He is, he's on his private jet, I believe it was, whatever it was. He's on a jet back to the States, and he's over the Atlantic Ocean, and he's rejoined the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka's not on the injury or the inactive list at all. Doncic is playing. The question is LeBron James playing? I think so. I think LeBron probably will play again. There's multiple injuries now for LeBron James. Obviously, there is that sciatica, which I think is going to continue to affect him all year long. And then there is the foot injury as well, which I think is worse. But regardless, Bron is questionable. if he can play, I think he's going to go, considering the Lakers don't play again until Wednesday night for their cup game against the Victor Wembanyama-less San Antonio Spurs. So I think LeBron at least is going to attempt to play tonight, and obviously he's not asked to do much with Luka back, and obviously Austin Reeves playing the way that he is. So I'm going to go with the Lakers here. I like Philly quite a bit. I've been on record saying I think right now if I had to pick a team out of the Eastern Conference, I'm picking the Philadelphia 76ers to win the East. Might be a hot take, but if Embiid is playing a big role by the end of the season in terms of if he's playing big minutes and he's healthy, Paul George is healthy, Kelly Oubre's healthy, and, VJ Edgecombe starts playing better like he was at the beginning of the season. You're getting big nights off the bench out of Jared McCain, and Tyrese Maxey's doing his thing. I think Philadelphia can be very dangerous in the postseason. I think they're really equipped to actually go far in the postseason. If they, really shrink that rotation down to 8 players. I think they can be really dangerous. So I'd watch out for Philly in the postseason. But in a spot like this, they're still banged up. Oubre's obviously out. Paul George is questionable. Joel Embiid is questionable. Now, again, we know how this works against the Los Angeles Lakers. It's just it's a thing, right? Players come back to play the Lakers. Obviously, Paul George is well used to this. Obviously, after playing in Los Angeles for the Clippers, guys randomly come back to play against Los Angeles. So I can almost guarantee you, Paul George is suiting up tonight, okay? PG is going to play tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. The question is, though, is Joel Embiid going to play? Which is massive, obviously. Embiid, obviously, former MVP. We know what Embiid can be at his best. He has said it before, right? Or he said it recently. It is Tyrese Maxey's team now. But Embiid is obviously still very involved. He did play on Thursday against Golden State, but did not play in the second night of that back-to-back against Milwaukee. There is no back-to-back attached to this game, and Philly does not play until Friday night against Indiana, obviously with the Cup stuff going on. So I assume actually Embiid's going to play because you have 5 nights off after this one. So yeah, one can assume Joel Embiid will give it a go today against Los Angeles. Still though, I'm going to take the Lakers. We know Embiid's not going to play massive minutes as Philly is really managing the load with him currently. And they're obviously not trying to play him, too much. So I think we're going to be fine in that regard, at least with DeAndre Ayton, obviously, on Embiid. And this team is just better when Luka's on it. I know the Lakers' record this season, actually, without Luka Doncic is not that bad. But as we saw in the Boston game, there's only so much Reeves can do. And yes, AR did not really get going until the second half. But you do need Luka back. And when you bring Luka back into the fold and back into the swing, okay, well, you've got the player who's averaging the most points per night in the NBA with Luka Doncic averaging 35.5. And by the way, averaging 35.5, 9-9 in the season for Luka. It is absurd. And then you've got Austin Reeves, who averages the 5th most points in the sport with 29.5. Again, not just all-star numbers this season out of Austin Reeves, all NBA numbers out of Austin Reeves. It's absurd. So anyways, you bring back Luka. AR said it after their victory in Toronto, Luka, please come back. We miss you. Yeah, again, there's so much dangerous when now AR, who casually is averaging 29.5 points per game and 5th most in the association, is a number 2 option. Yeah. Philly's on a run right now. And again, we have well documented Philly recently because I do look to the 76ers a lot. I feel like they should be a lot better, at least in their record entails, of currently being 13-9. But what has really haunted Philly throughout this entire season has been the lack of consistency. Right, they'll go on, they'll win a big game and then they'll instantly lose. And we've talked about it before, right? Philly's been trading wins and losses since they started 4-0 up until recently, where now they've just pieced together 3 consecutive wins, beating Washington, beating Golden State by 1 point, obviously, right, with the Edgecombe, put back bucket and the Tyrese Maxey, chase down swat of DeAnthony Melton to win the basketball game, and then obviously on the second night of the back-to-back against those horrible Milwaukee Bucks. Those horrible Milwaukee Bucks, by the way, who lose to Detroit yesterday. Miles Turner, whatever. Anyways, I think the Lakers can get them here, right? There's been a lack of consistency out of Philadelphia, and it hasn't really haunted them recently, but I think it does here. And by the way, again, shout out to Miles Turner for going under his line yesterday. That bum, right? He's had 12 points in the second quarter, did not score in the second half. You suck, pal. Anyways, I'm taking the Lakers here. I think the Lakers should win and cover. Again, they are just a different team with Luka back, and with the injury situations around Philadelphia, right? I expect Paul George to play. I expect Joel Embiid to play. But in what capacity, obviously, right? We still are seeing Embiid on a 25-minute per night basis. And there's a reason they're doing that, and they should be doing that. Philly, again, as long as you can get in the dance, like they did, 2 years ago, and they were the 7th seed, and they obviously lost the Knicks, where Embiid got hurt again. But as long as you can get in the dance, yeah, you need Embiid, you need, I guess, Paul George, you need these guys healthy, and Oubre as well, healthy for, a 7-game series. Right now, as you'd like to be the Lakers, obviously, right? You'd like to pick up a big win. Is it crucial? Is it essential? Obviously not. So I'm going to go with Los Angeles here. I expect LeBron James to play. And believe it or not, yes, the Lakers are better with LeBron. Okay, he knows his role. He knows he's really a third option. He's still a third option. But it's Luka's squad. It's then AR's team as well. And I think Braun does play after not playing the Boston game. I think he plays here. And with the rest coming up before Wednesday's game in the Cup against San Antonio, I do believe we see LeBron playing. It is just awfully weird, though, seeing LeBron James' regular season stats and the point average being 14. That's going to take a while to get used to. Regardless, though, give me Los Angeles to win and cover here on the road. Lakers -4, in Philly against the 76ers. On now to our fifth and final best bet of the video. Let's go to the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz over in the Delta Center at altitude in Salt Lake. And I'm going to go with AJ Mitchell over 18.5 points. Might sound crazy, but obviously there is a reason behind this. No Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tonight for the Oklahoma City Thunder. SGA, let me get the exact reason why Shai is not playing. It's because they think that they can beat the Jazz without Shai. No, Shai is out due to left elbow brucitis. I believe, I could be wrong here, I'm not a doctor. That's just a fancy way of saying bruise. I think I'm right. But anyways, a lot of players not playing tonight for OKC, right? Obviously, we just said Shai. Isaiah Hartenstein is still out. And then Lou Dort's not playing with the thigh injury. Isaiah Joe's not playing with the knee injury. And Caruso is out with the quad injury. So instead, we're going to look at AJ Mitchell tonight. AJ Mitchell has been a big-time scorer for OKC all year long. He's been the subject of a lot of contract talk this season, not because he's due for an extension, because he's already signed an extension, and he's making $3 million for the next 3 seasons, and he's averaging now and taking that leap, averaging 15 points per game. He's been huge, right? Second-year man out of UC Santa Barbara. AJ Mitchell has been a huge asset for this team, who's playing around 25 minutes a night and casually dropping 15 points per game. And we've seen in spots where Shai's not on the court, AJ Mitchell hoops. And AJ Mitchell puts up good shots and will find ways to score. So again, on a nightly basis, AJ Mitchell is going to drop, or is going to attempt. Recently, he's been attempting like 10 shots a night, but in stretches where, you've seen injuries, and since J-Dub's come back, AJ Mitchell hasn't really scored as much. Well, with Shai out the picture, you're going to see likely 15-ish shots tonight for AJ Mitchell, which I think pretty easily should turn into 19 points. OKC likely tonight will be starting a starting lineup of AJ Mitchell's going to start at the 1, obviously, for Shai. Cason Wallace will be at the 2, Jalen Williams at the 3, probably Aaron Wiggins, and then Chet Holmgren. And I like this even more beyond just the fact Shai's not playing, and Lou Dort as well takes away the corner 3, and then another bench player in Isaiah Joe and Alex Caruso, and so obviously just more opportunity in general for Mitchell. But I like it even more, too, because they're playing the Jazz. And if you've watched a Utah Jazz basketball game this year, you know how they play. They are extremely high-paced. They play with tempo. And it's just like Portland, I've said it before this year, they're just one of the teams that you just don't want to play. You don't want to get a matchup with the Jazz. They're not that great record-wise. Hell, again, they have almost an identical record to the Portland Trailblazers. Portland's 9-14, Utah's 8-14, but yet you're in for a dogfight when you play these squads. They both average 118 points per game, which is actually more than Memphis, Golden State, and Phoenix, all of which have better records than those 2 squads. So you are out for one, but at the same time, right, Portland and Utah give up the most points per game other than the Kings and the Pelicans in all of the association, or at least the Western Conference. I forgot about the Wizards and the Bulls. But anyways, right, on average, team score actually, Utah's got the second highest opponent's points per game in the league right now, only behind Washington, who gives up 128 points on a nightly basis. Utah gives up 125.5 points per night. They're a high-paced team because, again, that's just how they play. They want to run, they want to get in transition, and they're going to, barely burn any time off the shot clock before they get their first look that they like. So at the same time, that turns into more possessions for the opponents, and OKC's not afraid to play fast. They don't care. Again, this is a team that is 22-1. They are without Shai tonight, without 3 starters, and they're still 10.5-point favorites. It does go to show, again, how great this team is and the dominance this team is currently on. I think they're fine here. I think they're fine. I think AJ Mitchell is going to be fine to go over this line too. Again, we've seen before when Shai's not on the court and when AJ Mitchell is running the offense, when Shai is on the bench and the bench unit's in, AJ Mitchell takes over and he takes a lot of those shots. We saw before the Jalen Williams injury, there was more potential or more shot volume for a guy like Mitchell. I understand Mitchell and J-Dub don't do the same thing. They don't play the same position, but you take away an all-star who averages 20 plus points per game, and that's where AJ Mitchell was forced to come in there and score, 20 points per night. Obviously, we've seen a taken back role a little bit here for AJ Mitchell, but with SGA out, perfect opportunity for a guy who is legitimately one of the best players on OKC and has taken a tremendous step step so far this season. I mean, he went from averaging 6 points a game last year to now averaging 15 for OKC. So I like AJ Mitchell a lot in this spot. Again, with the absence of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and with the high scoring and high tempo nature of the Utah Jazz, we should be absolutely fine here with AJ Mitchell going over 18.5 points. So sign me up likely for a 20-point plus night tonight for the former UC Santa Barbara Gaucho, AJ Mitchell over 18.5 points at -115. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA Best Bets here on December 7th. Whoops. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to comment if you did just good thing in the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily NBA Best Bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.